Once while on pilgrimage with a group of young adults, we found ourselves on the outskirts of Rome, sitting on a field having a picnic lunch, and we were suddenly invaded by a flock of sheep. Many of us were actually thinking that they were kind of cute to play with, but the shepherd that accompanied them, a young man, was apologizing profusely for his sheep being out of control. He actually felt embarrassed that he couldn't control them. I often think about that as an example of who we are as God's flock, and the people of God sometimes can get a little bit out of control. We oftentimes don't follow God's will. Today, in the first reading, we see Micah pleading to God to shepherd his people, knowing that God is a God that is slow to anger, full of compassion and clemency. And maybe that's what we need, a God that's going to shepherd us, God who is going to be lenient with us and be compassionate and show us how to do his will. In the gospel today, Jesus doesn't use the example of sheep. Rather, he uses the example of a family. We are all called to be part of God's family, to be his mother and brothers and sisters. And in order to do that, we need to do it by asking God to teach us what his will is. In order to do that, we need to recognize that God is a God who is merciful. And perhaps during this year of mercy, our prayer should be the psalm response for today. Lord, show us your mercy and your love. And then, in recognizing a God who is merciful and compassionate, we can then follow his will and do good to others.